So can I start?
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at. Yes, please.
Okay, so judges ready, opponents ready, partner ready? My time starts now. We negate condition 1, frauds and scams. First, data trade. As Steve Mendes has stated in 2019, it's no secret that your personal data is routinely bought and sold by dozens, possibly hundreds of companies. For example, in September of 2017, Equifax traded 147 million users' personal data and caused $425 million loss reported by the FTC. Second, cyber attacks and data breaches. According to the law firm DLA Piper, there's been more than 60,000 personal data breaches notified to regulators till 2019. The FBI has been tipped off about a noble cybercriminal operation in which a hacker managed not only to breach as many as 130,000 access providers, when even containing personal information on 500,000 users. It is highly irresponsible to let tech companies use your data while they can't even protect you from cybercrime. McAfee's Center for Strategy and International Studies estimated the total cost of data breach to be 20% of the internet economy, which is worth $3 trillion per year. While massive data breaches are a serious concern, big data may not be what's most important, says James Scott, co-founder and senior fellow at the Institute for Critical Infrastructure Technology. 1, it hurts consumers. According to the 2019 identity fraud study from Johnson Strategy and Research, the number of consumers who were victims of identity fraud were 14.4 million in 2018 and a record high of 16.7 million in 2017. Hackers assessed over 4.9 million customers of DoorDash in September 19, resulting in $10 million in expenses. 2, companies suffer as well. People's Daily show about $14 billion of economic losses were caused due to personal info frauds between the second half of 2015 and the first half of 2016. Yahoo lost $3 billion distributed to data leakage in just 1 year. Facebook loses around $13 billion after data breaches affects 50 million of its users, and its stock closed down 3% caused by hackers. Condition 2, data oligopoly. The ultimate weapon against malignant oligopoly, the antitrust law isn't working. 2019 empirically showed that the 5 biggest firms have acquired 436 companies in the past decade, nearly all without antitrust review. That's a topic that's in startups and innovation. Harvard Business Review proves as linked that today companies are building their IP not solely on technology, but rather on proprietary data and its derivatives. As ever-increasing amounts of data are collected, new opportunities arise revolving around the use of personal data. Thus, data becomes a barrier to entry to the market, preventing new competitors from entering. As a result of the tech companies established access to vast amounts of personal data, overall industry competitiveness suffers. The editorial board 15 spells out that the presence of a few dominant companies in an industry also makes it harder for entrepreneurs to start new businesses in that sector. The rate at which new businesses are created in the economy as a whole has been steadily falling since the 1970s, according to the Census Bureau. In 2013, the growth rate was 10.2%, down from 17.1% in 1977. The impacts are twofold. First, it harms small businesses. Amazon launched a $100 million price war over 3 months on Quidsi, an e-commerce company, ultimately kicking it out of the market. Similar anti-competitive behavior was noted by Tim Wu, as Facebook has acquired at least 92 companies since 2007, but then shut down 39 companies, nearly half of its acquisitions. This harms directly translate into much more social severe impact, namely on workers in terms of wage loss and job loss. According to the KC SourceLink, wages in that tech sector started at twice the average wage for all new jobs, making that sector a key focus for job growth. In Kansas City alone, new tech sectors firms have created 925 jobs in just 2018 and averaged 900 new jobs per year from 2014 to 18. Secondly, it hurts consumers. Extending the Amazon and Quidsi case, a year after buying the Quidsi, the aftershock of the pricing war showered on consumers. Amazon shut down new membership in its Amazon Mom program, and by 2012, discounts then have previously reduced from 30% to 20%, then to 5% 2 years later. At the same time, the 1-year free Prime membership was cut to 3 months, which also made Amazon lose $100 million, and all of this problem was caused by tech companies using personal data. Thus, Wingate, thank you.
So, pro speaker 1.
All right. So can everyone hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay. So my time starts. Now we're from the resolution. First, according to Marty Guzzetto from Inc. Magazine in 2016, a technology company focuses on producing or developing technology products or providing technology as a service. Second, according to Privacy Commissioner for Personal Data is information that can be linked to an individual. So our framework is the cost-benefit analysis, considering the economy, crime, and healthcare. The concept needs to give lasting quantifiable harm that exists in status quo, which are unpreventable, unstoppable, and unavoidable. And they must prove that the harms outweigh our benefits quantifiably. If they fail, pro ballot is required. Now onto our contentions. Contention 1, economic benefits. Subpoint A, targeted advertising is beneficial to both the firm and the customers. Supported by Adam Muzioko from Business News Daily 2018. Personalized data is helping technology companies personalize advertisements, leading to more effective advertising. This reduces the price to serve ads for people unlikely to purchase their products. However, Beals 2010 from network advertising ads. Users clicking on targeted ads are 2 times more likely to buy the product in comparison to the regular mass dispersed ads. This leads to better customer satisfaction. According to Daniel Stickler from Global Newswire 2017, only 5% of customers will want to return what they bought when the experience is personalized, compared to 71% of customers that bought items through mass dispersed ads. Subpoint B, analytics. Data collection is helping companies know and create products that customers like. Mark Bernard from LinkedIn suggesting in 2013 that using big data, telecom companies can now better predict customer trend. Walmart can predict what product will sell, and car insurance companies understand how well the customers drive. Even government election campaigns can be optimized. Furthermore, Eric B. from MIT has shown in 2011 the tech firms adopting data-driven decision-making could result in a 5 to 6% higher productivity. Flooring from Science Business suggesting in 2014 that companies using data can boost EU economic growth by an additional 1.9% in 2020. Impact huge economic benefits. James Manica from the McKinsey Global Institute estimated in 2013, big data from tech companies could generate $3 trillion in value every year in just 7 industries, including tech partnerships with education, healthcare, and transportation. Contention 2, protecting the public. Subpoint A, healthcare. Data collection allows medical professionals to provide the best healthcare for their patients. According to Mona B from DataPoint in 2018, specific health data of an individual can help to prevent epidemics, cure disease, cut down costs for both the individual and the hospitals. According to Natalia Sakovic from STEM Solutions in 2019, electronic health record can establish the link between different symptoms and give an accurate and efficient diagnosis and treatment with less cost. There are 2 key impacts here. First, cost reduction. Basil Kayali from McKinsey Global Institute in 2013 estimated $1 billion in savings from reduced office visits and lab tests due to personal data. According to Apolitical from Super Globe 2017, Australia Queensland's hospitals are saving $2.5 million annually, and due to improved patient outcomes, $77.5 million have been saved. It has prevented long waits and cancellations by up to 20%. Second, better treatment. With 200 million pieces of personal data, Vikas Monoria from IBM in 2014 predicts a 20% decrease in mortality rate. Subpoint B, crime and terrorism. Police forces are using social media to track criminals. According to Matt Berg 2020 from Boston Globe, Boston police now use social media to list resources for domestic crimes and personal data to prevent crimes. According to Henry Ritsusia from the Wall Street Journal 2014, data analytics help you identify patterns that are often indicators of financial crime. According to Scott Parker from the Next Gov in 2018, data gives a high efficiency to cross-reference and identify terrorists through tech companies. According to Aaron Holmes from Business Insider 2019, facial recognition is used for tracking criminals now. According to McKinsey Global Institute editor in 2018, data-driven tools can help reduce fatalities by 10% and lower crime incidents by 40%. According to Statistical Analysis System in 2014, in Manhattan, the crime rate dropped by 95% after the police forces adopted personal data. There are only 69 robberies in 1 year. Thus, we affirm. Thank you.
So first speaker crossbar and in prep time.
Can I take 30 seconds per round, please?
Sure.
Done. I'm done.
Okay, so first speaker crossbar is 3 minutes time. We'll start now.
All right, so judges ready, opponents ready, partner ready. My time starts now. Now, please choose between medical centers collecting medical records or tech companies collecting medical records.
They're collaborating.
I want you to choose one. Medical centers.
It's collaboration. Why should I choose one?
No, I want to ask you which one is better: medical centers collecting medical records or tech companies?
Tech company.
Why?
Because you're wearing wearable devices every day and you bring your smartphones to you everywhere every day, and they can help you.
What does that have to do with the medical records?
What do you mean?
What does that have to do with any? What does that have to do with anything with medical records?
Like it can track how many steps you walk every day and how.
But you would have to go to settings and make it track you, or
No.
else you won't. It wouldn't
Health
be
is an
tracked, right?
inherent app in any smartphones.
So you're saying that it's gonna track you like without your permission, right?
How does that have to do anything
Because
with your question?
if it's allowing your permission, then it would ask you before they're tracking your steps, right? And you're
Yeah.
exactly, that's actually obeying the rules of tech companies, like using your personal data. They would have to ask you, but in other words, they're actually not helping by they're like not asking you, and they're using your personal data.
Okay, I don't see how it's efficient anymore to answer to your own question. Can I ask a question now?
Yes.
Okay. So in your contention one about data breaches, you mentioned Equifax. Is Equifax actually a tech company?
Yes.
Wait, show me the evidence.
Wait, you're actually trying to ask my link.
No, Equifax is not a tech company.
So give me your link.
Okay, I can tell you Equifax is not a tech company.
By what?
Equifax stands for Consumer Reporting Agency Company, which belongs to the government. It's not a tech company itself.
But it's collecting personal data, isn't it?
So it's government collecting personal data. It has nothing to do with the tech companies. Can
Wait,
you
so
agree
give
on
me your
that?
link of how it's actually a government and not a tech company.
Equifax stands for Consumer Reporting Agency Company, and according to Equifax.com, it's controlled by the government.
Isn't government. Right?
No, Equifax is a government.
Wait, how? How is
Government is
Equifax
controlling Equifax. Equifax is a Consumers Reporting Agency. It's an agency which is controlled by government.
So, so can you please show me your link?
Okay, go to Equifax.com.
Okay.
Just go to Equifax.com.
Okay. Next question. So, you were talking about preventing crimes, right? So,
yeah.
Please show me the link between police and tech companies.
70% of all police forces are using social media tech companies' resources as they are collaborating during the attacking criminal process.
They're using
tech companies.
They're using tech companies, not tech companies.
Okay, so counsel rebuttal speech. Any prep time for this? Hi.
Oh wait, there's a technical problem. I'm not sure why, but sorry for that.
It's okay. Do you need prep time?
No, I don't.
Okay, sure.
So everybody ready? Judges, like, let me know that you're ready. Okay, fine. So my time starts now. First, their case, there are many problems that impact is off topic. Let's see why. First, acting benefits. First, talk about targeted ads. They talk about 61% money generated from ads. However, they failed to prove that all ads are tech companies ads. If schools are giving ads, this is off topic. And secondly, they have no quantifiable impact for this. Not they think because 71% money generated, yes, tech companies, no, they failed to prove. And second, analytics, they talk about 1.9%, which is a small number, and the main impact is $3 trillion. But they in the blog itself talks about $3 trillion benefited by big data, but not tech companies or personal data. This is a benefit in total, but not by topic. Thus, it's off topic. And second contention, our protection. They talk about first healthcare, $1 billion reduction. So they failed to prove me that the reduction only is caused by a topic. I heard clearly that a blog itself is saying the reduction made as a whole, but mentioned nothing about topic. And second, crimes and terrorism. They talk about 20% drop. However, first of all, no examples of any tech companies helping. And secondly, how does the data, how to reduce crime? They prove no link, and they failed to prove that all 20% drop are actually like work by only the topics. Please give me a link about their case. And secondly, their things talk about Equifax, not a tech company. According to Wikipedia definition, it's a tech company. And about the government's problem, governments are controlling, but usage and collection are made by Equifax. That's why we're counting this into our topic. Okay, so next is our case. We first gave you fraud and scam, data breaches, and data treason and data breaches. First, the link between data breach and the topic. Forbes reported that 53% companies are using big data analytics today, and big data is the top product of this topic. And second, data warehouse optimization. Another result of this topic is considered critical for 70% of all companies. And second, money loss, which means hackers stole both data and money. According to U.S. Department of Homeland Security, about 90% of the breaches origin from defects in software. In 2018, the Federal Trade Commission lost more than $1.88 billion directly according to the leakage. And in 2019, they Gartner forecast $125 billion in cybersecurity loss alone. And second, the damage from hacking cost benefits businesses $400 billion a year according to the British interest company Loyal. And secondly, let me give you according to Accenture, the cost benefits. This topic costs businesses $5.2 trillion worldwide within 5 years, which is worrying for modern executives. That judge, even with the $3 trillion in our case and $5.2 trillion in my block, we win this by impact comparison $8.2 trillion, and their impact is actually off topic. And second, monopoly, which are second contention, are really important. First, we gave you no protection, antitrust law isn't working, and secondly, let me give you sellers actually suffer. Uber live at which a multi-year price without a cost, Uber $5.2 trillion lost, and a smaller was $640 million. The same thing happened to Amazon Queasy. Amazon slash price and the bleeding money, which completely killed Queasy, and Amazon itself lost $100 million. Companies need huge amounts of personal data, and acquiring data is expensive. This makes small stores cannot even afford the fee, so they are out of the business. And let me prove to you. In fact, American companies alone are estimated to have spent over $19 billion in 2018 acquiring and analyzing consumer data, according to Interactive Advertising Bureau, which means we have less stores that can afford the fee, and we gave you data 7% reduction since the 1970s. And we also gave you that small businesses are really significant, as small firms accounting for 64% of all new jobs and contributes to $104 billion in corporate tax revenue fiscal year 2009 alone. So that's judge we see. Our two contentions both have strong impact according to and not off topic. Okay, so basically our another our benefit harm is that it harms consumers. So first we gave you data trade privacy violation. We gave you BCG found that 75% consumers in most countries worry about this problem, which means consumers, they know that their privacy are actually violated and they have harm, and here are the harms. Facebook lost around $13 billion after data breaches by 60 million of the users, and it stopped close down 3%. Also, we have direct money loss. After so law enforcement found users lost more than $3 billion for the same reason in the last 4 years. While massive amounts of breaches are a serious problem, data may not be what's most important, says James Scott, co-founder and senior fellow in the Institute for Critical Infrastructure Technology. Thus, judge all in all, we see our impacts outweigh theirs, and their link cannot stand firmly. That's mitigate. Thank you.
Okay. So pro side rebuttal speech.
Can I take 15 seconds of prep time? Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
So my time starts now. So first about framework. Just since they don't provide any framework, does judge follow our framework, discussing the cost-benefit analysis, including crime, economy, and healthcare, and focus on the quantifiable impacts. Contention 1, cybercrime. Our opponents claim that the use of personal data could cause cybercrime. We have 3 responses to this. Firstly, tech companies contribute a lot to detect and solve cybercrime problems. Private cybersecurity firms have been always the ones sounding the alarms, and in some cases, they're selling their services to the U.S. intelligence community. According to Greg Meyer, national security correspondent to cyber firm Area Security, said it recently detected Russian military intelligence breaking into computer system of Russia successfully. And second, tech companies have done a lot to inform consumers of preventing cybercrime. According to CN Kiech, digital technology and science editor, over 650,000 people have participated in Google's early experiment of preventing hacks. For those whose passwords are prone to hacks have been informed by Google. Google is trying to prevent hacks in this way. Thirdly, personal data can be used to prevent cybercrimes. Biometric authentication by using personal data provides a much more easier solution that avoids the need of passwords. By looking at the unique biological feature of a user, such as footprint, fingerprint, face or eye, this technology can accurately authentize a user with almost no room for error. This in fact, provides a method for preventing cybercrime. And fourth, tech companies prevent data breaches for small companies. According to IT security Jungle Disk, Google prevent 100 million breach attempts, and protect over 4 billion devices, especially for small companies with high risk of breach. This means that the use of personal data and biometric authentication can actually help consumers prevent cyber crimes and protect national security by detecting and hacks outside the country. Thus, our opponent's point doesn't stand. And second, moving on to the monopoly. Our opponents tell you that tech giants are monopoly that dominate the market with negative consequences. This argument is wrong for the following reasons. First, tech giants are not monopolies that dominate the market. Google has competitors such as Yahoo and Bing. Amazon competes with companies such as Microsoft, Alibaba, and eBay. Facebook competes with LinkedIn and Twitter. Apple competes with Huawei, Sony, Lenovo, etc. Just because they have relatively bigger market share doesn't imply that they are monopolies. Second, having bigger market shares doesn't directly imply harms to consumers. In fact, the bigger the profits for the tech giants, the more money spent into innovation, which will ultimately benefit consumers with improved products and better services. According to Atlas, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, and Alphabet have spent more than $60 billion on innovation. Facebook spends 21%, Amazon 10%, and Google 15% of their profit on the innovation. Tech companies increasing profits clearly increases innovation and improves the services for the consumers. So our
our opponents talk about it actually hurts innovation. This is not true because, as we can see, those large tech companies have provided lots of money and spent lots of money into innovation. And third, users have the option to step away from tech giants, which means that tech giants having bigger market shares is due to better services provided to the consumers. According to HuffPost, when Google entered the market, Yahoo has a much bigger market share. The reason why Google has a bigger market share now is because they are rewarded for better products and services that attract consumers. And monopoly that benefits the users are actually not monopolies at all. So thus, we think that this argument doesn't stand. And more responses to their data breaches, they talk about it. So first, the resolution is about harms and benefits of tech company use of personal data. However, according to AI researcher Michael Yam, 47% of business leaders say that breaches are caused by human error and lack of supervision instead of use of personal data, and most of it happen in smaller companies. Therefore, this contention isn't relevant to the topic. And this whole debate, we believe that saving lives is the most important issue. Thus, we shall win this round of debate. Thank you.
Okay. So second speaker crossware.
Okay, so my time starts now. First come to answers. Any quantifiable impact about their first target ads? I mean, the money terminal impact on consumers. They are the people who are benefiting the most, right? They're like both sides are benefiting, and you want some evidence of. I mean, I want just a number. You can just like saving time. Just read me a number, and we can just pass this question. 71% of the 71%. Sorry, that is like 71% money. Okay, sorry for interrupting, but thank you. We gave you that all ads. You have to prove that all ads are tech companies ads. If schools are giving ads, this is off topic. Please give me the link that all ads we're talking are all tech companies ads. Yeah, this is tech companies ads. I'm sorry, your blog is not talking about tech companies ads. It's talking about all ads. I heard your blog, like it's your blog. It's targeted ads, and tech companies are using this kind of targeted ads, and users are having a better experience by. Sorry, I'm not talking about ads. I'm talking about tech companies, right? I can see like use those personal data to put on the ads, right? Yeah, I got it. What I mean is like, yeah, they use target ads and personal data, but what I mean is that 71%. Please prove to me they're all tech companies' usage of personal data, or as my school. So we show that they actually use personal data and show. Okay, maybe you can give me like not only claim but blog in your summaries. Okay, so your question turn. Okay, so like, are there like companies competing with each other, like because you talk about monopoly in your second contention? Yeah, they're like competing. Yes. Okay. So, okay, my question turn. Okay, thank you. So I want to know how target ads persuade people. If they like, for example, how can they persuade people to buy apples if they don't want it? What do you mean? Okay, Judge, let me make it more concise. What I mean is that 71% people, they're potential buyers. They're gonna buy in the future, but now they see ads and just immediately buy it. If you cannot prove with your data or blog that they're not buying whatever, but only because of the ads, then you can prove with their impact. So please prove me. Thank you. Okay, so what I'm saying that they have like different kinds of targeting, like micro targeting, and also the people use those kind of website and those kind of tech companies because it can benefit themselves economically. And now are there actually do you agree that this way? Did you answer my question? I was asking what is like. Okay, I was asking how does this persuade people when they're not potential buyers? Give me the link that those 71% are not going to buy. I already tell you that, and when they go to the tech companies, they know that the online marketing is actually benefiting themselves economically. But the common sense is that only potential buyers. So it is actually helping them, and I think it is now my question, right? So yes, but I want blocks. Maybe your summary, your question turn, please. Okay. So are there like any substantial, like how many people are being killed because of like scams or cybercrime? Do you agree that like lives is the most important issue in this debate? We're not killing lives. Innocent, yeah, I know you're not killing lives. I mean that are their lives being killed? Like because you talk about like maybe they are, but in healthcare. Thank you.
So summary speech.
May I have a prep time? A running prep.
Sure.
Okay, I'm ready. So, judge ready? Opponents ready? Partner ready? My time starts now. Judge in this speech, I'll summarize the debate and explain why we should win. Starting with framework. Their framework is we should have a cost-benefit analysis, and we agree with our opponents with their framework. But Judge, the problem is that their framework is that they have proved no time frame for their framework, which we have because our time frame is a long time. We also outweigh their impact, and we have 5.2 trillion when they only have 10 billion. Now moving on to our own case. Contingent 1, frauds and scams. Firstly, data breaches have a major impact to our personal lives. Tech companies have been selling personal data to uncountable third-party sites and advertisers behind the user's backs. Here's another example. Equifax 500 million users' personal data was exposed and sold 240 million users' personal data versus 130 million registered ID information and 123 million official website registration information were involved. Why Equifax is a tech company? My partner has already rebuttal in her rebuttal speech. Second, scams result from cyber attacks and data breaches. Cyber criminals gain unauthorized access to steal their private, sensitive, or confidential personal data of the consumers or users contained within. Just one hacker managed to breach as many as 130,000 access routers won't even contain your personal information on 500,000 Americans. Judges, would you let the tech companies hold your data while they can't even protect your data from cybercrime? Our opponent's response was that they use tech companies, and also they were talking about they are eliminating cybercrimes. They also said that personal data would be able to stop this. But Judge, one response, if our opponents are repeating over and over again that there is a solution, then why is there still $5.2 trillion lost and billions of people's personal data lost? If you have a solution which doesn't impact to anyone, what is the use of this solution? There are two devastating impacts to this problem. It was hurting consumers, and secondly, it was hurting the tech companies itself. This way, it is a lose-lose game for both sides, resulting in a series of bad events afterwards, as we have mentioned in the constructive and rebuttal. People say about $14 billion of economic losses were caused due to tech companies. Content 2 is data oligopoly. There are two main impacts of oligopoly. First is a harm small businesses. Let's just see a really unfair example. Facebook has acquired at least 92 companies since 2007, but then shut down 39 companies, nearly half of its questions. This also lets us see that jobs permanently will not work. Secondly, tech giants hurts consumers. J19 empirically showed that the 5 biggest firms that acquired 436 companies in the past decade, nearly all without antitrust review. Our opponents were trying to class this point by two ways. Firstly, they use a lot of money, but even if they use a lot of money, it would be able to monopolize more. And secondly, we are explaining that they are marketing small businesses, not users, and small businesses would not be able to step away, which we have stated clearly in our constructive. Their first content was economic benefits, but Judge, why should you not buy that? Again, firstly, they don't have the link between, and secondly, our impact of saving people's money and personal life outweigh their first content. If they talk about economic benefits, then why are still $5.2 trillion still lost? How much people are actually affected by targeting ads? Again, they were talking about all ads, not tech companies' ads, so that's actually no answer. Second, contention 2 was protection. So they actually didn't give me an answer about medical centers and tech companies, and also about the prevention of crimes. So this is actually a really obvious result. Con wins this case. Thank you.
Okay. Can I take 30 seconds prep time, please? Okay, I'm done. So everyone ready? I take that as an yes. So my time starts now. First, looking at the framework. So A, we should only focus on status quo because the topic wording is the verb is, which is in present tense, which confines our debate today into status quo. So I don't understand why our opponents are arguing about future, because our resolution restricts us to talk about status quo. Second, Equifax are controlled by the government. So I don't understand how our opponents just argue about Wikipedia or something like that to say that tech companies actually use the data from Equifax, but it's actually the government using the data. So now moving on to the major issues. First, about data breaches. First, to tell you that they are talking about general breaches, not specifically personal data breaches. So they cannot access their impacts because our resolution restricts us to personal data, not just general data. Second, hackers steal the data, not the tech company. So it's not the tech company's use of personal data, it's the hackers' use of personal data. The tech companies do not have the obligation to prove that hackers do not steal the data. So there's no impact to the people because monopolies are the ones who are losing money from this argument, and which means that the monopolies will decrease their market share and decrease their monopoly. So either our opponents have to drop this point about data breaches, or they have to drop their point about monopoly. Now moving on to monopoly. First, we tell you that profits go to innovation, as our second speaker has already stressed. Second, we tell you that customers choose whatever they like. So if they want the small companies, then they can choose the small companies. The big companies only have bigger market share because their services are better. So I don't see any negative impact of monopoly. Certain companies are outcompete each other by innovation, so it's not hurting each other. It's not hurting the small company if they solely have more personal data. It's your innovation that outcompetes other small companies. First, it will stimulate small companies' innovation more, because if the small companies want to enter the market, so they'll try to innovate more. Moving on to our point, first about economy. Our opponents blame us in the crossfire that it's not about tech companies. But again, as I already stressed in the constructed speech, according to Adam Uzioko, tech companies can make better choices with target ads. Second, they blame us for saying that missing the link of persuading people, but target ads are targeting potential buyers, and it's 2 times more likely to convert comparing to the regular mass dispersed ads. Then they say 3 trillion is not a big impact, but and it's big data. But according to GDPR report, big data cannot be separated from personal data. So we should consider both big data and personal data in our debate today. Now, moving on to public services, their sole response is that it's not the tech companies use their personal data, but in healthcare, tech companies at Apple are collecting personal data every day in your life, and they're sending these to hospitals. And in crime, 70% of police departments are directly contacting social media companies when tracking for suspects. We are the ones that are saving lives, and they are not. We are the ones that lower the crime rates. They are not, so we should win this debate. Thank you.
Okay, so are you guys ready?
Can we take 30 seconds prep time, please?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Okay. Are we ready?
I didn't hear it. Sorry about that.
Well,
Okay.
we believe it's our first question, right?
Yes.
So let's start right now. So basically, first of all, let's talk about, you mentioned, like your second speaker mentioned, Google preventing cybercrime. So the block itself, again, mentioned nothing about personal data. Please provide blocks to give link. There was a block you gave us in rebuttal.
I can do that. So according to Aaron Holmes, 70% of police departments are directly contacting social media companies, which are tech companies, to gain personal data.
Oh yeah, wait, social media companies, tech. Okay, so I was talking about Google. Only Google is not preventing cybercrimes, because you only mentioned
no. Not only Google, but
no,
Facebook.
I mean, I'm just
also
asking this example. This example you gave me, I'm just questioning your claim, right? I'm not talking about nothing further. Just this. Google prevented cybercrimes.
No.
Oh, if you can get, okay, so maybe in a solution, you're talking about like cybercrimes can be prevented by this case. So how is it working?
No, we were saying that crime and terrorism.
Oh, got it. So you mentioned 20% drop. So an example of other tech companies, as you failed to prove Google. 3 examples. I mean, one technique. Yes.
What do you?
No, 70% of all the police departments are contacting tech companies.
I mean drop. Like your only impact, like 20% drop.
So 10% decreasing fatalities and 40% decreasing the crime incidents after adopting personal data.
Yes, got it. So any tech companies examples? I mean, I don't want to only listen Google, which has no link. Examples.
Facebook, Twitter.
Oh, you're guessing, right?
No.
Give me block or. Okay, so just simply tell me, how does data have to reduce crimes?
Isn't that equate to Facebook and Twitter?
Okay, so let me make it more concise. Why personal data is a must for fighting crimes and terrorism, but not data? What about public data? The monitors, they're not personal data.
No, they're tracking the personal data. They're tracking the suspect's location.
Yeah, but
and that is personal data.
What I mean is, like, what about monitors? All around us, monitors finding where is that person, something like that, and that's not tech companies use of personal data.
Yeah.
That is.
Sorry, what I mean is
like the data from the tech companies.
Okay, what I mean
is ask the question now? Oh, sorry. Can I ask the question?
There is. What I mean is like Google.
I don't see how it's efficient anymore. Can I ask the question?
You have the answer. Yes, question, please.
Okay. So is there? Can we agree on that saving lives is the most important thing in our debate today?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So your question, please.
Okay, our question turn.
Let me just explain that we didn't talk about Wikipedia in the future, and we actually agree with you for your framework, and we
Is that
only
a
said
question?
that you guys don't have a time frame. So just-
No, that's a clarification. You misunderstood. Wikipedia is for definition. Okay, question turn. Here's question.
Okay.
How about data breaches, non-unique rights? Can you give us any other areas same serious as the topic? We gave you trillions of dollars lots. Any area
Yeah,
same?
trillions of dollars of data, not personal data.
No, I mean the money lost according to tech companies' use of personal data. The topic, not
No, it's general data, not personal data.
No, we gave you blocks. Sorry, we gave you blocks.
It's
Also,
Can you give me the link like how $5.2 trillion worth of personal data are lost?
Okay, here. Listen. Okay, first of all, we gave you data of any tech examples of tech company lost it. Okay, time's up. Thank you. I want to run a prep. Thank you. Okay, time's up. I'm earlier. Okay, come down. So, judges ready? Wait, not okay. Got it. Is everybody ready? My time will start now. First, look at the debate. Why we should win with this debate? Their impact, their case, their impact's object, like I mentioned lots of times, but they drop most of my answers in rebuttal in their summary rebuttal. And second of all, they have no terminal impact we see, and we gave you billions of dollars lost directly on consumers. Okay, so first we got you. You answered some of my question, but not all. Okay, so their case, more details. First, targeted ads. First question link. Targeted ads are not only making potential buyers to buy it earlier, but not making additional buyers, which they failed to prove. It's like I never buy ad plan because I'm allergic to it. So I'm always on 70% of them. Okay, second impact. They're only block about 71% that these are the benefits of personalized ads. Sorry, this does nothing to do with tech companies. Their impact cannot stand because they get no link. And second, analysts, we question this on impact because they gave us $1 billion. They gave us like $3 trillion. Sorry, we have no link about tech companies or personal data. Again, a link problem. And lastly, about analytics, they talk about protection, healthcare, about crimes and terrorism. About healthcare, we gave you. They failed to prove the reduction only caused by a topic link. Again, and lastly, 20% drop. Sorry. How does the data have to reduce crimes? Crimes they failed to prove. And my questions. First, they talk about tech giants try to prevent hackings. the quantifiable impact, the trillions of dollars are still lost showered on consumers. And also talk about like some tech companies are preventing cybercrimes, but yet we gave you direct loss according to tech company use of these are examples, and money like in total of like surveys. And also they talk about Monopoly has no negative impact. Sorry, Amazon mean to kill Queasy because it only slashed prices and did things on Queasy. That is totally more harmful. And also they asked for like life saving. So Josh, we can't see this debate. We win. First of all, link. We gave you link directly because by topic. First, we can't see no direct link in their case. And second, impact. We gave you trillions of dollars and billions of dollars directly lost on consumers. We win in both aspects. That's why we should win this bid, and we strongly urge for a calm ballot. Thank you.
Can you use all of our prep time, please?
So we want judge ready, apprentice ready. So we win on those kind of as we've already covered out the cost benefit debate. We definitely win on those 3 points, which is about economy, crimes. Okay. So is everyone ready? Okay. So my time starts now. So first we would definitely win on those 3. First, clarifications. They're being dishonest in the whole debate because they say we don't answer any of them, any of their contentions, which is definitely wrong. And we definitely win on these 3 points. First, economy. We've already proved that analytics result in 5 to 6 higher productivity. It boosts EU economic growth by an additional 1.9%, and it actually generates 3 trillion in value every year. So money are being generated, and the economy is being boosted, and we are generating money, but they don't have a bigger impact because they are saying that they actually have billions of dollars, but we've shown that we have trillions of dollars being promoted. And they also talk about monopoly. First, innovation were being given even when the monopoly is happening, what the so-called monopoly. And second, customers are actually getting benefits from it because innovation ultimately benefits the consumers. And third, it is not hurting things overall because it don't have an important impact. We have also told you that in the debate that big tech companies are actually preventing breaches from the small companies and they provide 4 billion services, and they actually prevent those breaches. And now the most important issue, as we've all agreed, is saving lives. And they have no contentions proving that they are actually saving lives, but we have tell you that the collaboration between tech companies and hospitals, and we have tell you that estimated 1 billion in savings from reduced office visits and lab tests due to the personal data. And hospitals are saving 2.5 million USD a day, and it has prevented long wait and cancellations by up to 20%, and a 20% decrease in mortality rates, meaning that more lives can be saved and labor could get prevented. So we are actually the ones that save lives. And third, crimes and terrorism. Data-driven tools can actually reduce fatalities by 10% and lower crime incidents by 40%. Thus, Judge, we shall win this round of the debate. Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
My earphones problem, or we didn't start it yet?
I'm not talking.
Hello, can anybody hear me?
We're not talking.
Am I off then?
On this mini program, it says Judge Georgina is confirming debaters' information. Yeah, so you need to confirm information first, and then we could just vote. So only after that can we vote.
I mean, Georgina, could you please
Hello?
confirm the information and then we will vote?
Okay, I'm confirming it.
Can any judge hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I've confirmed it.
Yeah, I have voted on the mini program as well. All right. So, oh, do you want to announce? You could announce. It's okay. So it's in really close 2-3 in favor of the con side. Does anyone else want to start comments first? Oh, I could just start comments. Okay, thank you for announcing the results. I will just give some oral feedback first. So I vote for Prozac. I think that both teams are really competitive, but both teams are just keep drawing points when they are in the final focus. Okay, so I will just give some debaters' comments first. So for pro debaters, for both of you, I think that you need to learn to interrupt your opponents. Like in crossfire session, if you like the free speech, it means that they keep emphasizing their own points. And it would be better if you ask more questions and answer more questions. So most of the solid questions are raised by Kang, but you guys did a pretty good like answering strategy. And also like for summary speech, I think that you should structure your summary with clashes. And false data isn't false personal data is a relatively vague response. But I think that your constructive speech is really great, which has a clear structure and with a lot of cards provided. And also for pro second speaker. So I think first of all, I really like your comparison your rebuttal speech. Like the strategy is really great. It bites me well because like you compare with like tech companies are not a monopoly. They have competitors like Google have Yahoo and Apple Inc. have Huawei. This kind of comparisons is really vivid. But I think that first of all, you provide multiple answers to Kang's arguments, which is really great. But I think that you could include more about crime arguments and give answer back to the rebuttal in the crossfire. And also, like for a final focus, I think it is really big because our final focus, I think it should be focused more on your on the voting issues and also about clashes points, like what Kang say and what we says and why we should win this debate and in which contention and why our impact is greater than them and why you should vote for us instead we vote for them. and also for con debaters. So this is not the first final round that I have judged you guys. But first of all, I have something to clarify for the other time. So I think that you need to be like, don't keep interrupting your opponents. I think in the debate, public forum debate, it is kind of impolite and rude. But okay, so I think for your final focus and rebuttal speech did a pretty great job. But I think your summary speech, you should weigh more impacts, summarize your voting issues and summarize the clashes points. And I think also for your concerned speech, the cases, I think you need to do more like elaboration or a monopoly point instead of just throwing out the evidences and try to build more links between them. And like for example, like the use of personal data cause or exaggerated the current problem. So do not just throw out the evidence. Try to give more direct links. For the other speeches, I think you guys did a pretty great job, and also like in crossfire session, did a pretty great job in attacking the solvency. And for the clashes I have three major voting issues. The first one is cybercrime. So I think that can't just drop this point like in the other speeches, but remember to like bring it back because of like process this also improves national image, but Khan did not mention it in the entire debate. And also for monopoly, I have already explained this point. So Khan needs to give more direct links, and Pro's comparison strategy best email. And also like for main voting issues for me, so because of Pro said that it is not technology companies using personal data, it is government uses of their personal data. And I think this is a really clarified point. Both teams did a pretty great job, and this is a really hard decision. And we all know because of this 2-3 vote, this is a really hard, really competitive round. And congratulations to Kansai.
Or I agree that it's really hard decision for us to make. Actually, I didn't want to vote for any of you. Sorry for that. Is that for the pro team, the problem you make is that you do not have enough engagement with cons points. It's like when they're talking about scam and talking about the money lost by the company using personal data, but I really didn't hear any responses from you. And also a lot of questions raised by the con side, you really didn't answer their question directly. For me, that your summary speech and also part of your rebuttal speeches are more like you're repeating your points again and again. It's like your prepared script instead of you have responses to the other side. So that's why I voted for the con side, because a lot of questions you didn't really answer that. But there are also a really great problem for the con side is that the question you ask make me feel that you do not really understand the logic of the pro side. For example, when you're asking them about like how can you make your phone to like track the steps people make without consent, but the pro side, they need their consents in that, so that in the first round of crossfire, I think that you do not really understand the logic of the pro. And then and sometime later you ask another question saying that like can you raise the data for the tech companies to like put advertising to targeting audiences and targeting consumers. But the thing is that they're never talked about tech companies using their own ads. It's about like the tech companies use a lot of personal data and they sort the consumers and they tell the other companies the results, and the other companies would be relying on these results to target their own consumers and putting on ads in that. So that I do not really understand why you're asking data for that part. And just like these two questions, there are a lot of questions I do not really understand the logic behind it and how does it really help your point. So is that if you're doing further debates, you should try to ask questions really related to the point you want to make, because the crossfire is a time for you to ask questions, get their answers, and to put forward the point you want to make instead of asking some random questions and doesn't really help. Yeah, thank you.
I guess I'll start. So I voted for pro YK Pao JB. I think first of all, the pro side's first speaker did a really good analysis on time frame. In the summary, he talked about how this resolution only focused on the status quo. So only like any kind of long-term analysis I heard from the con side will be discarded. And I feel like the con side, you guys didn't really engage with that time frame issue, which you guys could have done a better job. Second is I think the pro side did a really good job in mitigating the scope of the con side's probably most important evidence on data breaches, because they already stated that your evidence only focused on like data breaches in general, but not exclusive to personal data. So I think that really significantly mitigated the impact of your contentions, which is notably, I would say, the most important contention you have in this debate. And let me see what else I have. I think the pro side also managed to defend healthcare and crimes and monopoly really well. They managed to say that, you know, the police officer were actually utilizing social media as a tool to prevent crime, and also like, I think in the first crossfire, I don't understand why the con side kept pushing the pro side to say, like, choose between medical center collecting data versus tech companies collecting data, when they already stated very clearly that they're collaborating in the first place. So I wouldn't say it's a very strategic move to like insist on, you know, pushing your opponents to answer this question. I think they already made it very clear that, you know, these two agencies are collaborating. So I think the con side guys could have engaged more in the crossfire. Also, I think you guys really need to chill out a bit in crossfire. I think the pro side were super chill in the crossfire, which I think you guys really did a good job in answering your opponents. So I think overall, I voted for the pro side because I think, first of all, you guys did a really good job in rebutting why their evidence were not as credible as yours, and also the majority of the contentions in this debate left, I think, goes to the pro side. So that would be my comments.
Can I ask a question?
Okay, I also.
Sure, but maybe you want to keep it short.
Okay.
Okay. I voted for the con side because of how they argued against the pro side, how they were able to support with evidences, though the pro side too supported with evidences, but the con side's confidence was outstanding, and how they laid their impacts, and then further mention other relevant sources to support what they were trying to say, and how they attacked the contentions and provided evidence to justify their claims was very outstanding. And the pro speaker too, you also did a very good job. You had a very good rebuttal speech there, and you were very confident also. But the reason why I voted for the con side was their confidence in the Grand Crossfire, and how they put forth their questions and their arguments, combined with all the relevant sources that they had. Though the pro side did well, all of them were very prepared for it. But how the speaker one of con and speaker two of the con side provided the arguments was outstanding. How they relayed it with very different aspects of all the logic in question, and then how they were able to justify their claims. That was why I voted for the con side for my side. Okay.
And it's all the facts that other judges has talked about. And I want to give two suggestions to the pro side. I voted for the con side. And first is like, although some of the questions proposed by the con side are a little not relevant to the topics, but however, you should avoid from the con side from asking too many questions at one time. So you should have control your own pace, and also asking your own questions. And also for the clash points, for the summary speech, you should actually summarize the clash points and to analyze from both sides, not just combined with some repeating of your contentions and rebuttal to the con side. So to make your clash points more clear. Yeah. Any questions?
Like in this debate, I mainly talk about no link for their impact. I know it sounds pretty rude, but what other ways I can rebut this? I mean, this is their huge problem. Okay. Should I change a question, or just is my way of asking questions too strange to answer? Am I out of line again? Or can you guys hear me?
No, I can hear you.
Okay, so I was asking how can I rebut their case, their impact, because they have clear impact, but I rebutted by saying in the blog, it talk about like the benefits in total, but not only talk about topic. So this is the way I rebut them. So what should I do better in this aspect? This is I think the only weak shortage I think they have.
I'm still not understanding your question.
It's like so I asked for no link for impact irrelevant to topic. So what can I do more better to say it's irrelevant or something more, stuff like that.
Well, I would say if you want to go for more offense, maybe for their first contention on targeted services, I think you probably can turn their arguments by saying that targeted services disproportionately harm the vulnerable people, like poor people with low income. And to their contention on healthcare, maybe talk about how, there's the problem of data breaches in the healthcare sector, or you can also turn that by saying, crimes increase as a result of like data breaches and stuff. But yeah, I don't know.
Okay, thank you. It's embarrassing.
So hi host, could we just leave the room right now?
Yes.
Okay, so have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.